My name is Hussein Kalfan. I am from Saudi Arabia. I'm 24 years old. My major is English at ASU. When I was in high school, studying abroad was always something in my mind as something that I have always wanted to do when I finished high school. I had a friend who had already been at ASU like 4 months before I came in 2010. It was easier for me to come to the US, to a city where I know someone, and he was my classmate in high school and he was my friend back home in Saudi Arabia. So I had to contact him and he told me where he was. He said, I am in Arkansas State. Of course, I was shocked at first. Where is that state? I have never heard of it before because, back home we always hear stuff about the famous cities like LA or Miami, Chicago. But when he said Arkansas, I didn't know what the state was or where the state was. But it wasn't my intention to come for fun. My biggest intention and my biggest goal to study abroad was to go to a good school. And eventually he gave me a lot of information about ASU, and I thought, why not? ASU it is. So I had to get a student visa, I had to get acceptance letter. I had to do all of those things. It took me 4 months to do all that process, like looking at where to go in the US. You leave your country, you leave everything behind, your family, your favorite food that your mom cooks, your friends that you grew up during your childhood, everything, and then come somewhere where you didn't know anything, you didn't even know the language. I had never spoken English until I came to Jonesboro 2010. So for the first 18 years of my life, I didn't know anything about America, I didn't know anything about English, I didn't know anything about, literally I didn't know anything about how to be an adult. I'm being honest here, back home, part of the culture, I guess. We spend many years of our lives with our parents, so basically we never move out from the house until we are married. That's just how the culture is. So it was a big change. It was a life change to go from that culture and come to this culture where everything is different. It's a different lifestyle, just to become someone new. I think the hardest part was leaving everything behind. 18 years of my life wasn't a short time. It wasn't just a month or 4 years or anything. That's 18 years of my life I lived back home. It's hard to do that. Every now and then I feel homesick. I feel like I just want to go home and see my parents and my friends, my childhood friends that I have the great memories with, ever since first grade until I was 18. So that's the hardest part. Now there are a lot of factors of being homesick. You miss your language, you miss everything. Some of the hardest things are what make us stronger. In my case, yes, it is hard to come here with zero English, but on the other side, to be positive, it is hard, but yes, I enjoy and I have always loved learning the English language, and believe it or not, it has become my major. But it's fun. It doesn't have to be English. It's any language that you learn, any new language. It's a whole new world. It increases your knowledge about stuff that you didn't know back home if you ever go study abroad. It could be about anything. It could be about religion, food, culture, politics, history, art, music, everything, sports, I had never heard of football back home, nor have I ever played football back home. It was always soccer, and when I came here, I was like, what is soccer? And they said, football. I was like, then why do you not call it football? They said, we have something called football. It's called American football. For the very first month in the US, I was in Washington, D.C. for the very first day of my life in the US. I landed in Washington, D.C. To apply for the scholarship that I had from the government. I feel like I could remember every single detail of that day, considering it was my very first day in the US. It was a snowy winter day. I had a friend coming with me from back home. We spoke zero English. My friend, the one I am talking about, has been my friend for from first grade basically. We grew up together. We went to school together, high school together. He's my neighbor. So that's the first day. The first day itself was a huge story. But then eventually I came to Jonesboro. I didn't know anything about Jonesboro for at least 3 months. All I did was going to class, which is ESL, English Secondary Language, to study the English. It was tough for me to start actually practicing English with native speakers. That's my life for about 2 months. And then eventually, the longer you live somewhere, I feel like I have gotten a lot of friendships, not only at ASU, but also people outside of campus. People I met in downtown, people I met at the Edge Coffee House, for example, or just my neighbors. In 2010, I was very shy to start a conversation with someone that I don't know. But nowadays, I feel like I am confident enough to just start a conversation with someone that I don't know, basically, whenever I am finished with school. But now, as it was hard for me to leave everything behind back home, now I feel like it is very hard for me to leave everything behind in Jonesboro. I am in love with everyone I have met in here, and it's gonna be tough for me to just leave and not ever return to Jonesboro. I started thinking about staying in the US, and specifically in Jonesboro, to teach English. I am thinking of being a teacher at ESL, which is the classes I went to get the English as a new language. I feel like I could do that. Just an opinion. If you have the chance to go study abroad one day, go for it. It's gonna be the time of your life, I promise.